If you've ever worked alone at night, you know the kind of silence that makes every sound feel personal. I thought I was the only one on shift in that Chicago parking garage until the cameras showed someone else working down there too. So don't skip this video, because if you ever hear footsteps echoing in an empty garage, it might already be your turn. This happened 2 years ago. At the time, I worked the night shift at a private parking facility on Wabash, just a few blocks from Millennium Park. Nothing fancy, no uniform, no benefits, just a navy jacket with Metro Park stitched on the chest and a walkie clipped to my belt. The job was simple. Monitor the ticket booth, keep an eye on the security cameras, and make sure no one vandalized or broke into cars. Easy money. Until I realized I wasn't the only one working those nights. The garage had 5 underground levels, each colder and quieter than the one above it. The elevator was old, with flickering lights and that burnt rubber smell that never quite went away. My booth sat near the exit ramp, a glass cube with a space heater, a chair, a small TV, and 12 security monitors showing every corner of the place. Most nights, I'd see a handful of late workers or bar hoppers parking before heading out. By midnight, it was usually empty. The only sounds were the distant hum of air vents and the occasional drip from a leaking pipe. You'd think the loneliness would get to me, but I liked it. I could read, drink coffee, and watch old crime shows on my phone. It was quiet, predictable. Until November. That's when I started noticing him. It was around 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. I was half asleep at my desk when I saw movement on camera 7, the one covering level B4. A man, walking between cars, slow, deliberate, hands in his pockets. Nothing illegal about that, but the garage had been empty for hours. I leaned closer to the monitor. He wore a long, dark coat and a gray beanie. Couldn't see his face clearly, just his posture, hunched slightly forward. I grabbed the walkie. Security to maintenance. Anyone doing rounds on B4? Static. No response. I waited a few minutes, then pressed the intercom that played through the garage speakers. "Sir, the garage is closed. Please exit through the north ramp." The man didn't move. He turned slowly, looking toward the nearest camera. Even through the grainy feed, I swear his eyes locked right onto mine. Then he smiled. Not a friendly smile, a slow, deliberate curl of his lips, like he knew I was watching. Then the feed flickered. When it came back, he was gone. The next morning, I checked the logs. No entry ticket, no record of anyone walking in. I told my supervisor, Luis, what I'd seen. He shrugged. Probably a homeless guy looking for shelter. They sneak in sometimes. Fair enough. But over the next week, it kept happening. Always around the same time, 2 or 3 a.m., always on the lower levels. Sometimes I'd catch him standing between cars, sometimes near the stairwell, sometimes just walking in slow circles, never rushing, never hiding. Once I saw him stand directly under one of the security cameras, looking up at it, perfectly still for almost a full minute. When I switched to another feed and back, he'd vanished again. I started double-checking every entry point after midnight. North ramp, south ramp, pedestrian doors, elevator, all locked. No tickets, no motion sensors triggered. But he was there, and every night he seemed to get closer to my level. One night, I brought my friend Tony with me. He was an off-duty cop, and I thought maybe having someone else there would make me feel less crazy. Around 1:45 a.m., we both leaned over the monitors. "Wait for it," I said. At 2:12, movement appeared on camera 9, level B3. A shadow near the elevator. "There," I whispered. Tony squinted. Could just be reflection. Then the man stepped into view. Same long coat, same gray beanie. Tony leaned forward. "Is this live?" "Yeah." The man started walking toward the elevator, slow, head tilted slightly. Then he stopped, looked up at the camera, smiled. Jesus, that's creepy as hell. I hit the intercom again. "Sir, the garage is closed. You need to leave immediately." The man raised a hand and waved.
Tony grabbed the flashlight and said, "Let's check it out." We took the elevator down to B3. When the doors opened, the air was colder. Our footsteps echoed. We swept the beam between rows of parked cars. Nothing. We circled the whole level. Empty. Then Tony pointed. "Look!" On the concrete floor, in the dust near one of the pillars, were footprints. Wet footprints. Bare feet. They led toward the elevator shaft and stopped halfway. Tony swore under his breath. We went back up. On the monitors, the man was standing in front of my booth camera, outside the glass, smiling straight into it. Except when we looked through the window, no one was there. I quit the next morning. Told Luis I was sick, that something wasn't right with that place. He laughed. "Ha, man, you're just tired. You want some extra shifts off?" I took the rest of the week, but even at home, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that smile, gray beanie, wet footprints, the way he looked right at the camera like he knew me. By the time Sunday rolled around, I convinced myself it was all stress. So when Luis called saying the other night guy quit, I agreed to cover one more shift. Just one. For closure. When I got there, the building felt different. The hum of the lights was louder, the air thicker. At midnight, I made myself a coffee and watched the monitors. 1 a.m., nothing. 2 a.m., I felt it before I saw it. A flicker in the corner of the screen. Camera 12, level B5. Movement. He was back, but this time he wasn't alone. Another figure walked behind him, shorter, maybe a woman, dressed in all black. They both moved in sync, step for step, until they reached the elevator. Then they stopped and looked up, both smiling. My chest tightened. The feed cut to static. When it came back, they were gone, all of them, except one new thing. Handprints, smudged across the elevator doors. I could see them clearly, even through the grainy feed. Dozens of them. I called Luis. No answer. I called Tony. He picked up half asleep. "Man, you seeing him again?" he mumbled. "Not just him, there's someone else." Tony sighed. "You're obsessed, dude. Get out of there. You're hearing things." "I'm seeing them, Tony." But when I turned back to the monitors, the feeds were changing. One by one, the screens flickered. Camera 1, empty. Camera 2, empty. Camera 3, static. Camera 4, dark. Until only one was left. Camera 11, the view from the elevator. The doors slid open, and there he was, stepping slowly out, coat dripping, bare feet leaving dark marks on the concrete. He strayed at the camera, smiled again, and started walking toward the booth. I froze. Then I heard it. Footsteps echoing down the ramp, coming closer, slow, steady. I killed the lights and ducked under the counter. The footsteps stopped right outside the booth. Through the glass, I could see his silhouette, just standing there. I held my breath. Then, tap, tap, tap. 3 knocks on the glass. I looked up. His face was inches away from mine, separated only by the thin glass pane. His eyes were dark, his smile stretched too wide. He whispered something. I couldn't hear it, so I leaned closer, just a little, and that's when I saw his hands. They were covered in black streaks, oil, dirt, something thicker. He pressed his palm against the glass, leaving a print. Then he whispered again. This time I heard it. "Your turn." He turned and walked toward the elevator. When the doors closed behind him, I bolted out of the booth, up the ramp, and didn't stop running until I was on the street. The cold air burned my lungs. I looked back through the exit gates. Empty. But in the reflection of the booth glass, I saw another shape. Not him. Me. Standing inside the booth, staring back. The police didn't find anyone. No footprints, no fingerprints, no signs of forced entry. They checked the security footage, but all they found was static, Every single feed erased between 1:45 and 3 a.m. Luis called a few days later. He sounded shaken. "Hey, weird question. You been back in the garage since that night?" "No." "Because," he hesitated, "the cameras caught someone last night, looked just like you, sitting in the booth." He laughed nervously. "Guess the system glitched." I hung up, and that night, out of habit, I checked the live feed link still saved on my phone. Most of the cameras were dark, but camera 1, was active. It showed the booth, lights on, chair pushed back, and a man sitting at the desk, watching the monitors. Gray beanie, long coat, and when he turned toward the camera, it wasn't him. It was me. The city later closed that garage for structural maintenance.
When they drained the sump pit on level B5, they found 6 shoes, none matching. Luis quit the company 2 weeks later. No one's heard from him since. Sometimes, if I park downtown, I'll see a reflection in the glass near the exit booth. A man in a long coat, smiling faintly. And whenever I hear the echo of footsteps in an empty garage, I remember what he said. Your turn.